Now let's look at a diagram of the process states and see how a process begins from the new state and reaches the terminated state. So here we have the diagram which shows the process states, and here we have all the states that we just studied before, and let's see how does a process changes from one state to another using this diagram. So first of all we have the new state. So here is the process is being created. So when the process is being created, it is there in this state. So after the process is being created, it is admitted and it will comes to the ready state. So next state is the ready state. The processes are ready to begin execution and it is waiting to be assigned a processor, so it can begin its execution. So that process is created and it is admitted, it is in the ready over. So in the ready state, what can happen? The scheduler dispatches it to the processor, and when it begins this execution, it will go into the running state. So when it is dispatched and when it receives a processor, that means it begins its execution, and when it is executing or when the instruction is in that process is being executed, at that moment we can say that it will go into the running state. Now after coming to the running state, there are three cases that can occur. So first is the cases it was running and it finished its execution and it exits and it will go to the terminated state. That means there was no interruption in its running and it was properly working or executing, and once it finishes its execution, it exits and it will go to the terminated state. Alright, now let's see what is the next state that can occur. The next case that can occur is there can be an interrupt when the process was being executed. So let's say that when these processes are being executed, some other high process is coming and this process was interrupted. So when it gets interrupted, it goes back to the ready state again. So it goes back to the ready state, and once I interrupted, as I handle this process and can be dispatched and assigned a processor, and it can begins its execution and go to the running state again. So that is what happen if an interrupt is encountered when a process is being executed. Now the next case that can occur is when it is running, it needs to wait for an input output operation or an input output event. Let's say that this process needs some input output devices or some event to occur. That at that time what happened, it goes to the waiting state, and in the waiting state which we already studied before, what is it waiting state for an input output, or it is waiting for an input event to occur. So the process may need something like an input output or an event to, or something, or it may need a signal from somewhere. So until and unless there is completed, it will stay in the waiting state over here, and once the input output operation or event that is waiting for that completed. So what happens once the input output operation or event completion occurs, it goes to the ready state again. So it is ready to be executed. So it goes to the ready state, and the scheduler will dispatch it will take to the ready state again. It means it assigned a processor, it will start running again. So these are the states in which a process can be. So we will see that a process it got created, it will in the new state, then it comes to the ready state where it begins its execution, and once it is ready, it will go to the running state, and after running, if there is an interrupt, it will come back to the ready state, and until the interrupt had been handled, it will go back to the running state. And again in the running state, if it will have to wait for some input output operation or event token, then it will go to the waiting state. It waits for the event to occur, and once the event has occurred and once that event has been completed, it will go back again to the ready state, and where it is ready for execution again, and then it comes to the running state, and after once the running or execution has been completed, it exists and it will go to the terminated state. So this is how a process changes state from one state to another depending upon different situations, as we saw here. So these are the states in which a process can be in. So I hope this lecture about the process was clear to you.